So last semester, I watched my friend Mike spend 3 months studying every single page of his biology textbook, like literally highlighting everything. Meanwhile, his roommate Alex, he started 2 weeks before finals, focused on past exam papers and key concepts, and got a higher grade. Here's the thing that'll change how you approach literally everything. Mike worked harder. Alex worked smarter. And the difference? Alex accidentally discovered what's called the 80-20 rule. And once you understand this, you'll never waste time the same way again. Let me ask you something. How many hours did you spend last week on stuff that didn't actually matter? Scrolling through notes you'll never look at again? Rewriting flashcards in perfect handwriting? Watching that complete guide YouTube video that's somehow 4 hours long? We've been taught that more effort equals better results. Study harder, do more, cover everything. But here's what nobody tells you. That's a trap. The 80-20 rule, also called the Pareto Principle, says that roughly 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. In studying, 20% of the material you learn will give you 80% of your exam marks. In skills, 20% of the techniques will make you 80% better. This isn't about being lazy. It's about being effective. Because if you're spending equal time on everything, you're actually ignoring what matters most. Think about your last exam. Seriously, think about it. How many questions came from those first 3 chapters you spent weeks memorizing? Maybe 1 or 2. How many came from that one topic your professor kept mentioning? Probably half the exam. Teachers and professors aren't trying to trick you. They literally tell you what's important. They repeat it. They spend more time on it. They say things like, "This is crucial," or "You'll definitely see this again." But we don't listen. We treat every chapter, every topic, every paragraph like it's equally important. Here's the truth. Not everything deserves your energy. Some formulas show up in every physics exam. Some grammar rules cover 90% of English errors. Some coding concepts unlock entire projects. The game isn't about knowing everything. It's about identifying and mastering that powerful 20%. And once you do, you'll have time left over to actually live your life. Okay, so how do you actually find that 20%? Step 1, look at past exams and assignments. This is the cheat code everyone ignores. Past papers show you exactly what gets tested repeatedly. If a topic appears in 3 out of 5 previous exams, that's your 20%. Spend 30 minutes analyzing old tests before you touch your textbook. I promise you'll save 30 hours later. Step 2, ask yourself, what do the experts focus on? Check what your teacher emphasizes in class. Look at the learning objectives at the start of each chapter. Watch what concepts top students in your field keep mentioning. If you're learning guitar, everyone talks about chord progressions and rhythm first, not every possible scale. If you're studying marketing, it's always consumer psychology and data analysis, not the history of every ad campaign ever made. Step 3, test yourself early. Here's where most people mess up. They study for weeks, then test themselves the night before. Flip it. Take a practice test on day 1. You'll fail, that's the point, but now you know exactly what you don't know. That's your 20%. Everything else? Context, background, nice to know if you have time. Step 4 is the if I only had 3 days method. Imagine your exam is in 3 days and you haven't started. What would you study? That brutal honesty forces you to cut the noise. Make that list right now. That's your priority list for the entire semester. Let me give you some real examples of this in action. For exam prep, in a 12-chapter biology course, chapters 4, 7, and 9 might contain the core processes that everything else builds on. Master those 3 deeply. Skim the rest for context. That's your 20%. For language learning, the 100 most common words in any language cover about 50% of everyday conversation. The top 1,000 words? Around 80%. You don't need to memorize a 10,000-word dictionary. Learn those 1,000, practice using them, and you'll understand most of what you hear. For coding, loops, conditionals, functions, and data structures. That's like 80% of what you'll actually use in beginner to intermediate projects. Once you're solid on those, everything else is just variations. For fitness, compound movements, squats, deadlifts, push-ups, and pull-ups. These hit multiple muscle groups and give you most of your results. You don't need 47 different exercises. You need to get really good at the fundamentals. See the pattern? It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things really well. Now here's what I need you to understand. The 80-20 rule isn't permission to half-effort your way through life. It's not about studying 20% and hoping for the best. It's about identifying the most impactful 20% and giving it 100% of your focus. You still have to put in the work. You still have to practice. You still have to show up. The difference is you're not wasting time on things that don't move the needle. Also, that remaining 20% of results, sometimes it matters. If you want to go from good to exceptional, from 80% to 100%, you'll eventually need to explore deeper. But most of us aren't even hitting that first 80% because we're too busy trying to do everything at once. Get the 80% first. Master the fundamentals. Build the foundation. Then, if you want, go deeper. So here's what I want you to do tonight. Pick one thing you're currently working on. A class, a skill, a project. Take 10 minutes and write down what you think the 20% is. What are the core concepts, the repeated patterns, the fundamental skills? Then check it. Look at past tests. Ask someone who's already good at it. Test yourself. And for the next week, focus only on that 20%. Go deep. Get comfortable with it. Own it. I guarantee you'll feel less overwhelmed and see better results. Because here's the truth. You don't have time to learn everything. None of us do. But you do have time to learn what matters. So, stop trying to do it all. Start doing what counts. Let's build this together. Try it out and let me know how it goes in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.